But big picture for someone who, might just be tuning in to what is happening in your state, what is DeSantis up to?
Well, Alicia, if you were to take The Handmaid's Tale, George Orwell's 1984, Fahrenheit 950, and the movie Scarface, throw it in a blender, you'd come out with DeSantis's Florida. I mean, it is the bizarro America, anti-America fascist project. It's happening in action. It's really been taking place over these last 4 years. But as DeSantis is now scrambling and doing everything in his power to try and recapture momentum for the 2024 nomination for the Republican Party, you're just seeing him do whatever he wants. And he's really seemingly doing it with a sense of impunity outside of some of these court decisions. But right now, it is DeSantis unhinged, and he's doing whatever he wants, despite what the Constitution or even the public opinion polls say what the voters are looking for, Alicia.
Ferdinand, feel free to disagree with me, but one of the things it seems watching this all unfold from out of state is that if you look at the policies themselves, they're pretty radical. And yet somehow he has worked in his messaging to make himself seem mainstream, to make a series of sort of minor decisions in the way that he chooses to talk about Trump and the way that he chooses to talk about what happened on January 6th, such that he would like to remain palatable to a broader cross-section of the electorate should he decide to run for president. It's why I find it interesting that you have him now out on the road, stumping for candidates like Doug Mastriano. He was with him on Friday. Just to refresh everyone, Mastriano's far-right positions, including supporting abortion bans without exceptions, rolling back same-sex marriage protections, and of course, he has worked to overturn the 2020 election. I don't know that you can purport to be a moderate, regardless of how conservative your own positions are, and then get on stage and stump for a candidate like that.
Alicia, he's such a moderate Republican, quote unquote, that he won the Alex Jones primary this week, who I hardly think is going to back any suspected rhinos. No, he is MAGA unhinged. And this is all in service of the base service work, if you will. And that's why he has taken every opportunity to align himself with that extreme right-wing perspective, even if it means aligning himself with some of these candidates who represent the most extreme positions of the Republican Party and put him at odds with what you might think is a general election audience. But it also doesn't matter how selectively he picks issues that he think might be more general election topics. Doesn't matter with the candy-coated shell around the fascist pill that he's offering. At the end of the day, it has one goal and one goal only, which is a type of government where DeSantis is the unquestioned leader. And anyone or anything that defies DeSantis will be ferreted out with the punishment of the state, as he did this month to the state attorney from Hillsborough, the duly elected state attorney, Andrew Warren, whose only sin was saying he was going to wait until the constitutionality of the Roe versus Wade decisions came into place in Florida. For that, Governor DeSantis suspended him, Alicia. That's in the line of actions he's up to now.